Hello. It's done an update. It's still working. That's good. Welcome to the channel, Heavyweight Gaming. We play D&D every now and then.
No.
Right. What do we do first? Social media. So we need Linktree. So if you want to follow us on social media, I've got to do this really fast because we've got loads of stuff we want to do tonight. So if you go to the Linktree, you'll get to see all the Instagram and the Twitter and the Facebook and the Discord and the YouTube and Spotify and Anchor. Maybe other stuff. I think Dance of the Beholders links are in there. So everything we do on the thing, you can go find out what we're doing, what we've been doing, what we're planning on doing, and a shout about it all there. So that's good. Check us out there. There's also buttons under the stream that you can click on. It'll take you to those places. Sponsors. We're sponsored because we are superstar D&D players internationally. D&D superstar. Lucky battle mats. If you want battle mats in your game and you want to flip out an A3 size map as modelled by our beautiful Luke.
It's so big you can't even fit it
Luke's
on the bit.
actually 7'2", just for reference.
Very tall.
They got towns and taverns, castles and caverns, forests, lava lakes, ritual circles, tundras, all that good stuff. Really, really cool maps. Everything they do on Kickstarter gets funded immediately because they're so good at what they do. If you play digitally like we do, you can go get them from Drive-Thru-RPG, and you can use them in your virtual tabletops. And if you want miniatures on those fantastic maps at your tables, see this little segue? You can go to Etsy, search for Sparky & Co, and get some of the most beautiful minis out there on the market. They're super stunning. I don't know where he gets them from. It's crazy. I love them. Go check out Sparky & Co. If you want music to accompany those beautiful miniatures and a glorious map, then you can use Sunscape and play it from a digital device as long as it's got access to the internet and a browser. If you are playing on a virtual tabletop and you still want the Sunscape, the greatest sound set ambience creators of the century, then you can share whatever you're playing with your party by sharing the link to your browser, and they'll get to hear it as well. If you ain't playing on a table with Sparky's minis and you're playing on a virtual tabletop, then use Coyote Gray's minis. Go to the marketplace, search for on Roll20, search for Coyote Grey, and look at all the chibi tokens that he's put up there. They're amazing. I love them. I own them all, even if I will never use some of them because, I'll just find a robot turning up with laser beams coming out of its eyes. They're cool. Just go check out the chibi artwork. I absolutely love them. They're amazing. Lucky Battle Mats, Sparky Co, Sunscape, Coyote Grey. Amazing, amazing people. I bought some of the chibi tokens for my GM the other day. Oh, yes, Sagebud, yes. They're super, super cool. Please check them out. Do you feel... What?
That one.
That one?
Sorry.
So
You weak long.
I'll do the bits first. I'll do the bits first, because I need to do my monkey.
Monkey.
Do you feel sorry for the adventurers? Boo-hoo. Monkey
So,
face!
I can't remember the
You've already put it up? Or somebody
thing.
put it up?
It's okay. No, Nightbot did it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Donate 200 bits last year's to give the party a re-roll. They can't be used on the DM or death saving throws, and they do not roll over to the following week. And if you like a moose and want to give me 500 bits, I will ruin their nat 20s. Or my past record at the minute is make their roll better.
Thank you, Sage.
Well done, Sage.
Yay, thank you, Sage.
Thank you.
Put my kid through college. That's all it costs, 200 bits. So, every year we do a charity stream. In the last 3 years we've raised around £8,000. Super, super proud accomplishment so far, but we want to keep going because whenever we play, why not? So we're going to this year, instead of doing a 24-hour or a 48-hour or 2 24 hours during the year or any of that good stuff, we were like, fuck it. Let's stream for a week. Why not? 60 hours, 12 noon till 12 midnight, Monday to Friday on the 24th to the 28th of July. We'll be invading Rich and Amelia, Rich of Dice of the Beholder, their lovely home, sitting around the table and streaming their Monday night campaign, When Glory Is Not Enough. And it'll be a continuation or a brand new campaign, depending on if they die before we get there. But whatever's going on, it'll be 60 hours that week. So yeah, we're going to try and raise as much money as we can for 3 charities. Shelter, who deal with folks in homeless situations and help them and support them. Papyrus, which is prevention of suicide in youngsters, and MS UK, which is a charity that supports folks with MS through their journey and how to deal with it in their day-to-day. 3 amazing charities, very important to friends and family close to myself. So yeah, hopefully we can raise loads of money for them. If you don't have any money, feel free to rob someone. Theft is only illegal if you get caught. So yeah. And if
For
you give it to
legal
charity,
reasons, this is a joke.
and give it to charity, like what Robin Hood did it, and he's a legend. So
Yep,
you know,
facts.
just don't shoot anyone with a bow and arrow. And I think that's it. Is that all the other stuff? Yes, right.
I think so.
Recap. Last week on Fables Among Titans. Oh, it's session 83, by the way, you lunatics.
Yep.
Pushing that big 100. Harry vomited forth a fey-like shadowy creature that went bananas, is a technical term we're using. Stared off into a mirage-like vision of the summer oasis of the Fae. Said the word mother and sobbed. It was very, very dramatic. Ari and Sapphire had a lovely conversation with the girl with no hands, which apparently is Natathrin's form of sorts. Not to dragon-like at all. What else did we have? Xandria passed out, turned into a demon, but she's back now with no horns. Giggity. Kesfion and Erube jumped on the back of Khan, the magical unicorn, rode across the nebulas, and have appeared in what appears to be a Toria of sorts. Were greeted by a beautiful tabaxi in a lovely peacock ball gown. You lot just did a recap before, and I've forgotten everything. What else? Anything else we want to throw in? Are we good?
Catching Jade up that one.
Yes. Malika. Probably the most
Is a
important recap.
butthead.
There are theories.
Yeah.
Theories flying around that Malika is responsible for the affliction Xandria's grown up with. They're possibly related to Artarian. Genetically, I've been informed. Natathrian's girl with no hands form has requested that they get the sight back for Artarian, because whenever Artarian is blind, Natathrian cannot close her eyes, and she's very tired, and she can't help if she's very tired. It's tragedy. Is that it? We're good? We're on the recaps? Yeah.
The whole family's
Right.
back together again. What could possibly go wrong?
So, as a weird time wibbly floop, we're going to start with Jade.
I love that.
So, Xandria, you were aware that Lord Meter wishes to converse with Malika in regards to this curse of the Darklings and how to go about any information regarding it. He informed you all about the Nation of Souls required, which is currently being taken care of by the Order of the Pale and Vibrant and Soul Taker. The Way of Mercy from Sensei Rin has the ability to heal without magical intervention. It is pure spirit to spirit. And this Curse of the Darklings. Mita wanting to speak to Malika, because as far as he's aware, the Archfey of Summer was the one that presented the curse to whoever, but created it. So he wants to speak to her about it. When you were offered the opportunity to use the Soundless Orb to speak to any entity ever that is currently existing in Colossus on any plane, it was a conversation between yourselves of, could he use that to speak to Malika, or would it be better to do face to face, etc. So his self and yourself went off to one side and had a conversation that we're going to have right now, Xandria.
Fantastic.
Let's go.
So, Lord Meter, you walk out towards the ruined ramparts. There are plenty of them. You pass by a few of the students. Cicerin is randomly popping into sight and into your periphery and just seems to be bouncing around just generally in the vicinity. Students are about, a couple of mentors. Everyone gives you your privacy, as it were. Standing on the ramparts, looking out across, well, this valley that would go into the lead into the main province of the Eagles. You are currently on the most southern coast of the province. So as you look northward, you can still see the little torchlights and smokes, and there's like real tiny dots having a massive battle between fair human and demon. Mita stands incredibly formal, rigid posture, in full armour when you saw him as he first arrived, and the metal circlet upon his forehead. I'm told you are the most closest to the one they call Malika, and that you were the one I should speak with regarding an audience with her. So my two questions are, would she be disrespected if I reached out to her from afar using magical messaging? Or would a face-to-face end my place on this plane? I've never interacted with such a feared entity.
You are more likely to cease your existence on this plane if you were to use magical means to contact her. It is always better and more respectful to speak in person with someone like Malika.
Would she hold audience with a human?
If given a good enough reason to do so. I have taken Abby with me before. Granted, he wasn't really allowed to speak, and she was oddly beside the point. You could have an audience with her. You've just got to make your intentions very clear to her.
How would I enter the realm?
Now that might be difficult, actually.
Would I require escort, invitation? Could you speak on my behalf? Would involving your name in said request bring... I would not wish to insult yourself or any of your company by such lack of etiquette.
I could perhaps reach out to her and make her aware that you are to be expected. Perhaps she will aid in getting you there. It's about as much as I could do without me physically taking you there, and that will take a long time. I think we have more chance of her taking you herself if I speak to her.
Without seeming too impolite, how quickly could you speak to her?
I can try and get in contact with her now via my usual means and methods. Whether or not she answers is another story. I don't know what's going on in her realm, so I don't know what she is up to.
I would appreciate it if you could, as I do not wish to stand at the castle gates with no castle beyond them.
Understood. If you will excuse me then, I shall attempt to go and make contact with Malika, and then I will come back and inform you of what it is she says.
And he gives you a nod, hands go behind his back, and he turns and looks out across the fiery valley. So how are you contacting Malika? Are you using magical messages, sendings?
Yeah, the usual means of Xandria speaking to Malika, going off into a quiet place and sort of, almost the equivalent of Sapphire's meditation. Just reaching out through that mental connection that she has with Malika.
So as you move away from Lord Mita to a quieter area, anyone that
I try.
approaches you, yeah. The anyone that comes anywhere near you looks at Mita first, just noticing he stares back. No one gives you any issues. You sit down, you reach out, you think of the oasis of the sands, you begin to smell the spices and the aromas of the camps that you're used to being in. You start to feel the presence of an otherworldly place, like the realm of the Fae. It's far easier for you to reach out and touch being in the material realm, and it's very potent. And you kind of, in your meditative state, just kind of like almost convulses a bit strong, but you do a bit of body bop, and you start to feel uncomfortable. And you kind of adjust yourself a little bit. You're like, it's all right. Then it gets a bit more uncomfortable. You start sweating. You are the herald of summer. The heat you do not perspire.
Yes, exactly.
But you are now feeling incredibly warm. It is you open your eyes and adjust yourself, try and shake it off. And you go back into it, and it is still like noon sun hot. Acknowledging the heat's one thing, but as a true summer fair, it's just a ball of fire in the sky. You look around a bit more, and the buildings and stonework around you, not like that. The buildings and stonework around you seem to peel away, like people moving large leaves out of the way, and you start to see beyond that movement of stone, large leaves, dark brown trunks, golden dunes replacing where this huge fortress is about you, and the whole scene around you starts to fold away, and in its place you are sat in the oasis of the barn. I'd have to go back. It's been months since I said that
It
word.
has been months.
You are in the summer oasis.
Yeah, that'll do.
Beneath your summer rump is still stonework of the castle ramparts. You can feel the coldness of the stone, and it is just a small patch where you are, and almost like someone's cut you out of that little scene and plonked you in the summer oasis. You look about the place, and you see movement amongst the trees and the dunes, and it is exhilarating to start with. It's the first time you've experienced the oasis since Harry took whatever it was he took. And there is an absolute like euphoria with it. It is something you almost shed tear. It is so overwhelming to you that you reach out as if to touch, but then pull your hands back in case you touch too heavy and break the scene. And once you kind of relax a little bit, you start to see movement amongst the trees and the dunes and the large little pockets of water and pink and blue blooms. You see small creatures. They've got red skins and purple skins and just darker shades of various colours. Then the vibrancy of some are pouring out. Some are deep blood red, others are powder pink. And as you follow their forms, you recognise the forms of the various summer fair, the pixies and nixies and ixies and bixies, all the ixies. But their facial features change or look different as you start to see almost bone and horn growing from cheeks and forehead. Some of their wings have gone from that like dragonfly-esque coloration and have a bit more bat-like leather to them, and then it'll flick and you see the shimmer and the transparency of some of their wings, and then it'll shift back. And as you look all around you, there's a confusion. There seems to be a fiendish theme as if one's gone to a masked ball and everyone's chose to wear the same decorations. But these aren't decorations. There are creatures in the summer oasis that appear to be truly fiendish. You see the huge folded leaf gateway that leads to the court of Malika, where she holds her own personal internal oasis. Stood on either side of those folded leaves are two large, heavy-looking, say warriors, but fiendish creatures that look like they do more with the large claws at the end of their thick fingers than they would any diplomatic reasoning. And they stand taller than any creature you've witnessed walk the oasis. And you begin, again, you're uncomfortable. You can feel beneath your armour, your clothing soaking, as if you've been, back in the lake with Selena and Kess and such, as much as you don't care for water. You can hear Malika's voice muffled on the other side of a wall, even though the gates to her personal court are a distance from you. She's in conversation with somebody, angry, raging. You hear the Fey equivalent of smashing furniture, but it is more likely a spark of arcane pouring from Malika as her anger rages around her courtroom. You reach out, hoping that the leaves fold away to the gate. The gate leaves fold away. They do not. The two fiendish guards, hulking in nature, almost ape-like faces with red fur just kind of stripping back over the top of their heads, just stare back at you. When they both lay eyes upon you, the rage and anger of Malika, of whatever's going inside her courtroom, stops. And the leaves start to fold away. And stepping through them, you see a tall, auburn-haired, long, eternally long, pointed ears. All the jewels, the silvers and gold earrings going down the sides of them. The long green dress that appears to be part of the oasis itself, and it just kind of forms around who you know to be Malika as they step towards you. As she steps closer and closer towards you, the oasis seems to dim in colour as it all seems to pour in and around her, as if she's saturating it. As she stands before you, she stares at you, golden eyes pierce into your deepest part of your soul. And all she says to you is, "What have you done?" And she waves her hand at you. The scene all rips away from you, and you appear in the courtyard, the ramparts, sorry. You look across to Mita, who's staring at you. You kind of panic for a little bit. You look at your hands, your skin has gone red and purple, claws have come out of your nails. You kind of feel heavier, and you're like checking yourself now, and you can see Mita comes running over to you, and you touch your face, and your cheeks are as sharp as they are for your fey-like features. They are bone as if it has come through rigid. Your eyebrows have got that bone protruding feature to them, and you have horns growing out of your forehead. And as Mita gets to you, you just pass out. Welcome back, Jed.
Thanks. Right. Mysteries. Ooh, shit. Okay.
When you come to, Kesfion's come running over just to check on you. You put your hand up. I'm all right. How's Harry? Kesfion's like, well, Harry's having his own moment. And you are then fast forward. Artarian has shown up. Artarian is currently sat upon the ramparts with Natathryn Sasha in her ivory soul-forged form. You said you will stay and keep an eye on them and talk with them if necessary. Ari and Sapphire went one way, Ruby and Kess gone another. But you are aware that, I believe you're aware, because Harry will have told you, yes, Harry? That Kess on a Ruby.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
on a
Harry messaged. Yeah.
Going on a unicorn adventure. And Harry was originally staying out of the way of the eagle hater. You're unaware of the girl with no hands at the moment, Zandria.
Okay.
So, let me just... Now we shall go over to the land of the peacocks. Will I change my music? Right, hopefully. Cube on now. So, entertain the crowds while I just. Well, that went a different way to
Yeah,
ours.
kind of how I feel.
You should have heard the recap that we gave Jay just before the stream.
I'm slowly starting to think, do you know what? Maybe it's not Malika that's the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. After that little theme there.
Oh no, I feel like she might have started some balls rolling. I don't think.
Started some bullshit.
Yeah, that too. But equally.
Nah, we should have left her dead. Should have kept Crystal.
That's right. You could have kept the cinnamon roll healer, but instead you wanted Zandria.
It's when you came out as a cinnamon roll healer, and half of us were expecting what's
Chaos.
the face?
Serenity.
Yeah, no, Serenity.
No,
100%.
Serenity is elsewhere in Colossus, guys. You still got time to see her.
No, we don't.
What you do?
Don't go playing with your bard. Nope.
I don't know. I left her in the capable hands of Adi, and Lord knows what she's up to.
Can anyone hear that?
I can hear
Yeah,
that now.
I
Yeah.
can.
Yup. I
Yeah,
super
it's
can.
the wind chimes are out in force.
I can't hear it.
It's probably for the best because honestly, it's very chimey.
To be fair, I couldn't hear what you were playing before. There was no music for me, but then the chimes started up.
Yeah, the chimes went hard.
Yeah.
Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Neds.
Uno momento. Por favor.
Yes, I've got stuff playing, but it's not. I can't hear it.
Yeah, Sage is saying they can't hear on stream either.
I can't hear it, but now I've not been able to hear
I can't
anything
hear it.
for the last 3 sessions. So
Something's showing now. Very, very low.
I don't like that.
I can hear that.
oh, there it goes. That was rain.
Yeah,
Okay.
I cannot hear that.
Yeah, I've got
So
that.
weird.
I'm just going to do a refresh.
There's some light tone music happening.
Oh, now I can hear something.
I can hear the rain now.
Good quality content, guys.
We're professionals.
Can you hear it now?
Very professional.
You hear it?
Unfollow.
Don't give them hints.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, us trying to catch Jade up was funny.
Oh,
Is a round of applause?
Yep.
More
Yeah.
round of applause.
Well, hopefully
Round
that'll
of
come through on stream
applause.
as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Sure. As you rode across the nebulas, astride the mighty unicorn, Khan, which is now my favourite unicorn.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite unicorn before?
Stavros. Sticking to it. You rode across the nebulas. Khan carried you safely, yourself and Kestrion, and you arrived at what is clearly Etorian in architecture. There were warriors in the muscle caresses, Corinthian helms, spears and shields, all peacock motifed. The gardens are stunning, beautiful aromas, blues and greens everywhere. A gargantuan temple of sorts at the end of quite a fair amount of steps where Khan has left you. You went the last few steps yourselves to see the mighty pillars holding up this marble monstrosity with covered also surprisingly in peacock symbology. Met at the doorway was the silver-furred tabaxi, a beautiful peacock embroidered ball gown. Smile across their face as Ruby approaches, and they say, Sophia, didn't think we'd see you again. Beyond her, you hear what appears to be a ball, or the warming ups of a Cayley band about to kick off.
Do I recall, did she hold her hand out and Ruby?
She held
her hand.
Yeah, she held a paw up as if to take your hand to hold, not to like kiss the royal ring.
So when she speaks and calls Ruby Sophia, Ruby instinctively gives this strange woman's hand a reassuring squeeze. But what she says is, respectfully and with kindness, lady, my name is Ruby Irwin.
As your hand touches and you squeeze, you swear on every oath you've ever said to dear old mother that you didn't steal the cookie from the cookie jar. You're that confident. But you see two deers, small doe, just walk behind the tabaxi and out of sight and fade off into nothingness. As you then correct her on your name, she smiles broadly, small sharp teeth, and she squeezes back. Ruby, a beautiful name. We are about to entertain. If you wish to join us, you've come a long way. If time is your worry, none will pass while you are here.
Where are we? That no time passes.
You are in the mountains of Atoria. Some say they are a heavenly place, others on a world of their own, but you are simply high up in the mountains. The temple itself holds the magic of time. If you travel beyond this, time would start again.
Sort of half turns to sort of look at Cass, because it's kind of sort of like not what she was expecting, but she didn't know what she was expecting, and it's kind of not what happened the last time we ran into a long lost bio family, so
You just kind of will.
have the same information you do. Kind of, yeah.
I'll follow you if you want to go, and I'll follow you if you want to leave. It's up to you.
Ruby will turn back and say, we won't stay for long, but thank you, yes.
Then follow me. And she starts walking like further into the temple area. As you follow and you cross the threshold, here's some genie imagination improv about to happen. As you step over the threshold, Ruby, if she was going to her most formal dance, Towan or otherwise, how would she be attired? Even if it's just a clean kilt, it's entirely up to you.
Okay. Ruby does not have a good sense of fashion. Ruby saw a colour once that she liked and vaguely remembers a dress that a girl in the town had once, and you know the colour.
Firefly.
No, but I
Please?
think Mel as a player will be slightly more familiar with this. You know the colour that is directly halfway between green and yellow.
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse, right? It's a bright ice highlighter kind of
The
yellowish
funniest part
green.
is the set of dice that we have for Ruby is exactly that colour.
This is bright. It does not suit Ruby. As you know, magically pretty as she is, this colour it's not working. It's vaguely. It's vaguely. It's not well shaped. It's not well tailored. It's
Ruby.
covering her.
Yeah.
It has like big hippie flared sleeves and as many flowers as can be. If this is dressing up, if there's as many flowers as can be in her hair or her jewellery or about her person are. She's just like attracting wasps and butterflies and everything.
Yes.
Just like so many real flowers, and it's ghastly. Like,
as you step through the threshold and this manifests around you and upon you, and you kind of like half turn as it's happening, the tabaxi holds your hand and you give a very slow turn, less of a they spin you and more of you're just kind of reacting to what's going on, and you see mirrors in the hallway that lead to the main hall, and you can see yourself in this almost reactive appearance. It is beautiful. And your dance partner? And gestures to Kess to step over the threshold. Seeing what's just happened, Kess, do you run away or do you step over the threshold? I am not wearing that.
or is that so made of
I
Ruby that you're like, Ruby did that?
Luke quite likes the colour chartreuse, actually, and has quite a lot of nice cushions downstairs, which are highlighter green and yellow. Thank you very much.
It's a good colour, just not on Ruby.
No, I wouldn't wear it. I think he'll just have something that he kind of remembers like wearing back home for like high days and festivals. It's like the tidier and cleaner, the sort of more put together, better quality kind of cloth has gone into it, and your good embroidery, like bits that your mum worked on and mum's mum worked on and your dad did bits and stuff like this. It's got the good stuff, the quality face, not the noodling about stuff.
As you both appear in these wonderful attires, you do see less on a table and more of a display area. Any weapons, rucksacks, ropes, armour, anything like that you were kind of wearing, nicely presented, as if not quite on an armour stand, but they're in that. This is what Kess looks like when Kess is not in it. This is what Ruby looks like when she's not in the stuff. You can see your little tea pouch all sat nice and prepared, exactly how you'd prepare it on a morning, Ruby, when you're restocking stuff and going through your daily rituals. It all looks well looked after. All about you as you follow the tabaxi through the short hallway and you come out into a grand hall, there is preparation for. Neither of you have ever seen such a massive. It's like a small desert in here, Kesfion, the size of it, just without the sand. So why would it be a desert? But it's big, all right?
But it's what he knows. He's like, it's a big desert.
Yeah.
It's a big space.
There
Must be a
are
desert.
there are several bands that are coming together and doing their own little parts before moving closer to each other, and it's if they're organising an orchestra that could be the size of a small army. This place is divinely massive. No need for it. Slightly exaggerated beyond necessity. And there are huge, like, single peacock feathers that are maybe 12 foot in height, kind of placed along some of the internal pillars. There are folks dressed in very, very nice clothing. You see a lot of beautiful Atorian tunics. Some are ankle length, others are kind of slit at the front on the back, so they've got really long V's to them. There is quite a few folk from afar. People that jump out to you two personally are folk that you'd expect to be in the Highlands, Ruby, at similar to how Kesfion said, when there's a celebration going on and the heights of like summers and the solstice and such, where people go all out, or there's a bunch of new nippers have just arrived in the last couple of weeks, so there's a big celebration for that. There's that. Everyone's got the best gear on type thing. Kes, similar, you see those silken robes and such that especially some of the more city-bound folk would wear, that have the gold to throw around. But you also see those in kimonos, similar, not like Sapphires. Sapphires is a kimono on a barbarian, all right? But a 6'6" white lion barbarian, that kimono is a t-shirt. But you do see some incredibly elegant looking sort of that similar fashion, and there is others, like, you swear at one point someone's basically took Griff and give him the best, like, reds and blues and scarves and such, and just everyone seems to be in their best gear. And as I say, music is playing, they're practicing, every now and then there'll be a round of applause. You probably notice that you don't see anyone clapping, but every now and then there's a round of applause. There are areas that are put in different places, like there's like maybe 100 VIP areas. Everywhere you look, it's kind of cornered off. There's a few steps up to a table and some marble chairs and cushions upon it, and then you look over behind it and there's another one, and then over to the left, and it would appear that anytime anyone wished to sit in an air of sort of, what's the word? Not importance, but they get their, like, almost nice feeling areas. There's plenty of them. And the Tabaxi gestures towards the closest empty one. We can talk, or dance, or eat. And as she says eat, you didn't notice it before, but there is a hella long table full of grapes and fruits and meats and wines and waters and all sorts.
Ruby she's not going to eat something that a stranger has just presented to her, but she's not going to start with the poor diplomacy of what's the obligation on this food, so she will ask to talk instead.
Guess he's thinking back about all the eat buffet he's just had and like, I think
He's like, how can
I'll pass on the grapes. Okay, my camera just decided to ruin my face.
Oh.
There we go. Well, walking up to this small area, it gets quieter as you take the couple of steps. The sofas and chairs seem to be visually made of marble, and the blue and green cushions all about them. When you sit there, it doesn't feel like hard stone beneath. There is a almost give to it, and you don't know quite how, but it's very comfortable to sit physically, if you're not there emotionally. But yes, there are on the table there are jugs and goblets, wine in one jug, water in another, and a sort of spiced, almost cinnamony type drink that you recognise from your youth, Kess. And the tabaxi also sits. Well, you've travelled a long way. What is it you wish to talk about, Ruby?
Ruby takes a moment, like she's gathering her thoughts and planning what to say, and then what comes out is just a stream of who was I? Who are you? Just every single question that an adopted child might possibly have when being faced with someone for the first time. She's reasonably sure that the tabaxi isn't related to her genetically, but
You've always
She also thought she was human. So.
yeah, but yeah, then she also thought she was human.
Turns out you're actually a goblin.
But it is the who was I? Who are you? Why do I have wings? Who's the peacock? Who's the unicorn? Why Toa? Why everything? Why who? What? When? Where? Why? How? When?
Okay. Well, I can answer the majority of your past, and hopefully at least some of those questions. And many a reminder on a few where you got a little bit faster when asking them. The easier ones. You have wings because of your bloodline, of where your heritage runs back into the histories of Colossus. Mortals call some folk that are blessed with such bloodlines Asamar, celestial blooded, divinely blessed, heavenly called. There are many terms the mortals have used. So much. A very, very long time ago. And there is as she starts to speak, the beautiful silver-furred tabaxi before you seems to not have as much shine to the fur, like almost aging as she's speaking. A star broke against the mountains of Atoria, and the shards of that star were nothing but life and light. Now, those that know the histories of Atoria, which are fair and few these days, a kingdom known as Everdon far in the east. Many of its peoples migrated to the shores of Atoria, and those people are of a similar lineage, not the exact same as yourself, but they are also Asamar. Now the difference here is when the star broke into its 14 shards, it blessed 14 Asamar, and their lineages will be forever altered. They are, or were to us, known as the children of starlight, and their children starlit. All 14 of these Asamar and their bloodlines, and she kind of stares at you for a moment, and you can feel her reading you, and as she smiles, there's a very natural, proud sort of kid on graduation day sort of smile on the parent's face. Became shepherds of those they claimed as their flock. The bloodlines of the starlit children are very old and well travelled across the world we know as Colossus. At some point in your distant past, That's where your lineage started. As for why the peacock, and that silver returns to her fur and she kind of sits back.
No, it was who is the peacock?
Oh, who is the peacock? Yeah, as for the peacock, she sits back. I am the peacock. But I was chosen as the peacock. The mountain of Etoria is home to the Celestials of Etoria, where we leave our names behind and we take on the roles Etoria needs. Akin to deities in other nations. We hold power, but it is the power of Etoria that gives us rather than the other way around. And you may have noticed there is not a likeness to yourself or I, but I have watched over you for a very, very dear friend of mine, known as the Deer, who is also a Celestial of Etoria, and, in some way, a sibling of yours, as they too were one of the Starlit children, and their story took them to take the place of the Deer, leaving their name behind, and become what Etorians need from their Celestial. What other questions are you throwing in there, Ruby? 'Cause you can be very direct. Just because I know Ruby's going ba 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 ba, but I need Jeannie to tell me the beats she wants.
It's not it's how Ruby would phrase it, but also it's because I know as a player what is on my character sheet. But Ruby has been either doing things instinctively or finding things out as she went along. So
You can ask things not on your character sheet if you want.
no. Basically, what isn't like not what isn't like we've had that, but like. What other than like wings? What comes of this? Like, what can I do? What?
Okay.
Like, am I part
What
human?
does it mean?
What does it mean? It's like you throw words at me, but it's like, okay, so I've got wings. Like, what's the practical implications for me here?
Look
And
up.
am I human at all? Was I ever human?
With the lineage of Asimar, it sometimes takes a while for it to manifest in a person, and some, maybe your grandparents never even experienced it, so it does manifest when it is ready. As for the wings and what else that will entail, you may find yourself, how do I put it, able to heal a friend or an enemy if you so wish by tapping into that natural affinity with the celestial nature of Colossus. Create light where there is darkness. Speak to creatures of the celestial realms. I believe.
Ruby's sort of like nodding along here because she like noticed back when Crystal did a spell that she could understand, so she started like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, that tracks. Got the celestial.
Unrolling the red twine to get the murder board ready. Yep.
Yeah, like, yeah. So I've got like, the healing people by touching. That's not a druid thing. That's a this there. Oh, okay, right. And so, geez, it's again that very encompassing look that it shows like absolute complete focus on this person and what they're saying.
If you were to choose the path of the divine, holy knights, paladins, clerical warriors, priests, there are times that being of a celestial nature, it increases the potency of which one can reach out to divine entities, casting their magics or receiving their blessings and prayers. Being a child of the starlit, well, there will be a time when the magic of the star you hold within your bloodline presents itself, and you will be given a choice. That is all I can say upon that, for its knowledge is unknown to me as well.
Made a god last week, it may have already happened.
Impressive. But there are many ways to make gods. I think you will know when it happens. If it happens.
So yeah, Ruby is still somewhat confused on the area of parentage here.
Does she voice that?
Yes, yeah, it's but again, it's very much just like, right, no, so it's like, right, we're going through a family tree, it's like, right. But,
We had a cat once, but...
right, it was, because you said that you're the peacock, but then, and what was the peacock is now the deer, but they're not a parent, they're a sibling, so...
So, you share the same lineage as the deer. You are both starlit children. Your entire lineages, your family's existence, once upon a time started as a celestial being, and then were blessed by the shards of this broken star. You're more...
We got the bit about
your
the star,
heritage
but, like,
upon
18-ish, we're not actually that 18, 20, whatever it is, years ago. What happened then? Who did it happen with? Like you keep the Ruby's trying to get across. Like, you keep going big picture here, but I don't think you understand how common I am. Like, you need to dial this back down.
Okay. There is a town in the southeast of Atoria known as Clayeye. It is a small fishing town. There are two people who live there who fell madly in love. A fisher known as Asul, and their wife, a retired warrior of the sands known as Demi, who became a net maker. And Azul and Demi fell in love. Simplicity at its finest. Clayeye is just a fishing town, and when you live on coastal lands, there are those that do not wish to earn their way honestly, and they become thieves and pirates and vagabonds and whatever else can be tagged upon dishonest folk. And Clayeye was raided. Maybe 2 decades ago, you were within Clayeye when a raid happened. These particular pirates and thieves and dishonest folk took children, adults, away from Clayeye. Some of the children they would raise to be part of their ships and their crews. Others would be sold. Not nice people. And you Ruby, were taken. Now, Isul and Demi took to their own ship and spent the best part of 15 years searching the seas for a daughter that was taken from them, and they never found her. Whereas on the coasts of Toa, a small child was left upon the docks. Why is not something I know, but for whatever reason you were not kept among those ships. 2 halflings came and saw the child. Seeing the child needed warmth and comfort and love, checking around for anyone to claim parentage or apprentice of this child. There was none. And so this halfling family took the child and returned every day for a whole year to the dock, just in case a family was looking for their lost daughter, and none came. And that is the history of your material realm heritage. The deer was at that time sickly, and I swore an oath to keep the Starlit child safe. A lot of people think that vanity and beauty are what the peacock stands for, but the true spiritual meaning of it is, it does include beauty, but new beginnings, protecting those around you, a flock, a spiritual awakening, and self-expression. And now you are here.
Ruby takes a moment to. It's she absolutely sneezes. She's definitely not tearing up.
It's the onions.
Yeah. There's like it's not even that Ruby is like the kind of person that doesn't like to cry in front of other people. She's like, right, no, focus, right, cry later, because it's I left that family. Not left that family, but some months ago, and I walked from Toa to Ravenholm. And I saw neither ice nor fire. And I did not know that that would be there. And whenever I try to ask anyone around that, they just tell me that can't happen. So, do you know how that happened?
You walked across the lands of Broken Heart, a fey creature that has been around since the fall of the Etorian Empire, when it reached out across Heroes' Realm and included the lands of Broken Heart. Before they were fire and ice, they were a land of where Etoria is known for gifting the world with the magics a bard can sing or write or play upon a musical instrument. But they took that from the muses of the fae that lived in the lands of Heroes' Realm. But it is intoxicating. It is not easy for a different creature to accept the musings and the inspirations those fae gave. And with all resource in the world, there was a fight, a battle that grew to a war. There are historians in Etoria that will speak of the retreating wars, and it is when the fae creatures of Broken Heart's lands pushed the Etorians out. No fae realms of summer and spring and winter and autumn, fae that lived on the material realm, took up blade against Etorians' shield. The land you walked across now, I bear some responsibility for both its creation and your protection across it. Broken Heart is known as Broken Heart because of a beautiful, ambitious, vain cat that thought they could win the heart of one of the most incredible fae artists she'd ever witnessed. And win his heart she did. But she also fell to her ambition and took the role as the peacock amongst the Etorian mountains. In his heart-breaking, fire and ice engulfed the land. In your protection in crossing it, that land is linked closely to my heart. And I was able to shroud you as you would yourself walking through a forest, avoiding wolves. You can auntie or grandmother or other names is what the deer used to say about me when I cast my eye upon you. I swore I will look after you, and I will do my best to do so.
Thank you for the passage. It did not go well with the one who now wears the fire and ice. He said I'd escaped him, but wouldn't again if I tried.
They are aware who you are and what you mean to myself and the deer.
I've no concern for him. There are ways to travel without going through there. Oh, and was it you then as well, where when I reached Ravenholm, I saw no battle, but just walked through the wall, waved through by polite guards?
I am also a representative of persuasion and beauty and such things, and it wasn't as it was now when you crossed the threshold into Ravenholm, but that was beyond the reach of my power once you'd passed.
Since then, everything has escalated. I have gone from a sheep maiden to... She pulls back a sleeve, showing the copper markings covering one arm. I must have been claimed by the earth at some point, because that is where my magic has always come from. I've become... And then it's like she doesn't really know the word, so she kind of like tries it out in a few different languages, but it's like she's not become one, but you know, saying that she's close with just makes it sound like they're pals, but she's trying to describe her relationship to the Copper Forest, not to Toodles, but to the actual forest itself. And speaks of blood pillars and how they're holding the, you know, stuff that we all know, exposition.
Yeah.
But her flock is now not only her friends, it's not only the forest, but it's these souls as well. And that her friends are being pulled by imposters of their brothers and their patrons and their other siblings. And oh yeah, there's the 3 true aspects of death, and we're gonna try and put one of them in like a massive magical prison, but it's...
Every now and then the peacock looks at Kess for confirmation, looks back at Ruby.
He just
she's
takes
getting
another
grander
sip
and
of the
grander
cinnamon
and
drink.
grander.
He's like,
word for word.
Yeah, if I'd known we were going to do this, I'd have written another Ruby goes off
No, improv.
recap of it, but let other people have it. But basically goes through all of that, and it's just not that she's necessarily looking for advice, or if she's asking, not necessarily asking if she has any responsibilities towards her newly reunited family.
The only responsibilities you have, Ruby, are the ones you choose. You have chosen your flock, and you will guide them, protect them, heal them, be a shoulder for them to cry on, raise them high above when it's needed. But it is always your choice.
The true, though, that affects
Everybody, including those of the mountains and lands far away. Not many knew of the true, and we only learn of it because those not upon the mountain speak of it, send magical word of it, pray about it. Even amongst us, the true were a myth, a story that we thought the elder races and deities spoke of. They are a devastating force, a side effect of Strand bringing in necromancy to the world. They are not death, they are beyond it. Even death will not survive if the true succeed.
well as I understand it, we're at a point where they need 3 things. It again, just like looks back to Kes just to make sure that she has got them right. The Curse of the Darklings, the Chi of the Master, and the Nation of Souls.
The Nation of Souls, I believe, is very underway. The war in Ravenholm, my eyes, as many as they are, and a fan of peacock feathers just like come behind the chair she's on, cannot see into the domain of those that watch over Ravenholm. The Darkling curse is old. Even when I was a mortal, we'd heard of the Darkling curse. And the Chi of the Master, the Way of Mercy, is a rarity. There are plenty of those that learn to master such inner magics without reaching out to a book or a bloodline or a gift from a powerful deity. They just manifest through their spiritualness. But the way of mercy is not something common, at least to Atoria.
Is there anything those of the mountain can do to stop any of those three?
She looks at Kess. Looks back at you.
And then Ruby sort of like does it, like gets that look of, oh, if my mum were here, I'd get a slap, and goes, I'm so sorry. This is Caspian Summerbreeze Narakai, the companion of the Wrath of Summer and the Lord of the Singing Lake.
that one is like.
Kess looks over his shoulder. Someone just walking.
At least I didn't say the Tsunami King.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I almost forgot the Tsunami King.
Better luck next time,
so
Kess. Better luck next time.
It's a no sushi bar in Tone Islands. I know of the House of Nerakai, and the rest is very impressive. A pleasure to meet you, Kespion, Lord of the Singing Lake. When the three true take foot upon the material realm, we of the mountain have conversed. If it is required, those of the mountain are in cycle. When we are done with our life as one of the mountain, we may move on to wherever it is we wish to move on. But for a brief time, we will hold the power in our mortal forms. And we can, as some of the bars put it, give out a last hurrah. We are close to deciding whether this will be our last hurrah and we make way for more to live upon the mountain as we have done our time, or if it is not yet ready for us to leave the mountain. But if we do, we will be there, and we will go where you need us. Ruby Owen of the Highlands.
Sort of while that's kind of ticking over, just kind of, she's gone to do whatever it is she does to her hair when she's thinking and remembered the feather, and
You feel something wet touch your finger for a moment. Real tiny, like, dot of wetness.
like a mouse licked my finger by any chance.
Like a mouse licked your finger. But when you react, you don't feel a mouse, but the presence was familiar.
No, because I really will cry if the mouse is back.
You see on the dance floor in a little tux.
Doing the robot.
Yes. Sorry.
Imagine.
But the hand goes to the feather and says, "This is probably a very silly sounding question to you, but is this magic? And is it yours?"
Yes and yes.
What kind of magic? Is it?
It will... How do I word it? It is consumable. It is a spirit level.
Yeah, sorry, that wasn't an in character. That was me seeing the
Strange,
chat
yeah, I
and
saw it
getting
as well.
distracted.
The eye moves up and down the feather. As you can call Khan to your side, if you wish to consume the magic within the feather, it will bring you here to a place of safety. You may bring friends along, but it is one way. I'm not saying you'll be here forever, but you'll be off the mountain for maybe a passing of a few days until it subsides from your being and you are able to leave again. But you will be safe.
Thank you.
Are you okay, Ruby?
You've told me what I was, and I know who I am. But there are things coming, and I don't know who I will be.
Only one way to find out. Walk towards it. Take your dashing Lord of the Singing Lake.
Yeah, Ruby, now Ruby's looking like... I mean... I'm like, pretty sure I've seen women, give Cass a look,
Everyone has looked at Kess. Kess never lost. Wasn't ill. Kess has been the Lord of the Singing Lake since a baby. Regal.
But yeah, Ruby's now doing somebody's told you that your brother's fit, and you're looking at him like...
Well, this one here.
You can take Sapphire with you next time. Cinnamon drink in peace, thank you very much.
Do you want me to leave you here? Genuinely, is that what Cass would like right now? Would Cass like to chill here for a bit with his drink and his nice
Did you
clothes?
say that out loud?
No.
No, I don't say that out loud. That's me messing around with Luke, just because I think there's a part of Cass that is like, yeah, this is pretty comfy and this drink is pretty nice, and no one here's being a whammer.
It's pretty cool on the mountain.
I don't know how much time will have passed, and you can say that it's no time, but please believe me when I say that the companions we've left behind will have managed to get into some kind of trouble, even if but half a second has passed since we stepped through your door. And yeah, Cass makes that exact face.
Hey,
I don't even want to think about what carnage we're going back to.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Yeah, I bet you do.
So I must thank you, and I don't know if I can pray to you in the same way I would pray to the oak, but I will try to think of you, even though I probably will not be able to come back unless until gestures at the feather, unless it's a real emergency.
You are right. Khan has, how would you put it, called in a favour to bring you here.
Ruby's extra payloads, note yourself, thank Carl. So is there anything that you would have wanted to ask me? And actually no, there is one more thing. You said for 15 years they searched. What happened those 3 to 5 years ago?
They stopped. And A fate has befallen them that shall not befall any mortal spirit, and the entirety of the town of Clayeye. As there are things afoot in the likes of Ravenholm and the True, there are also things of Atoria that need attention, and those of a similar ilk and drive and need to look after a flock to deal with. And it is why we, as those of the mountain, are stuck in stepping down to face the True and shepherd in Atoria. But there are creatures in Atoria that are not welcome. There are people in Atoria not welcome, as the rest of the world. But one of the side effects of these people being here has taken the lives of many in the town of Clayeye, and they are now creatures of unlife, mindless. And unfortunately, there is no way back for those people. And I believe Asul and Demi to be among them. But my eyes cannot pierce the magic of death upon that town.
If I ever find out that they did survive, I will write. But if at the moment it is unlikely to be received, I shall save it for if we survive what's to come.
Well, if you're not going to dance, I am. So you are welcome to stay and enjoy the eternal evening of my ball. Gestures towards people making their way to the dance room. But remaining in a place that it is timeless is hiding.
Oh no, we won't linger. We have seen our share of places where time does not move the same. It is
Well,
as much as it would be pleasant to stay.
they stand and hold out their arms for a hug.
Oh, they get a rib cracker.
There is definitely like I say, that sort of, yeah. To you, Kess, the peacock tabaxi gives you a formal bow. Lord of the Singing Lake indeed. And stands back up. You're on mute, but I'm sure it was beautiful.
No.
We didn't hear you.
Your mouth went like this.
Yeah, no sound came out.
No, because I was pointedly making sure I wasn't on mute and that I wasn't doing anything noisy to distract from what was going on. He'll bow in return.
Do you leave?
He's following his lead.
So the magical barrier, now that Ruby knows it's there, can she have any control over it? Where you came through and the clothes changed.
How do you try? How do you test that theory?
I was just thinking to change the threads up a bit, really. That all that Ruby's seen of like what is of Atoria and what her lineage is, and sort of that, like, that's either maybe not controlling it then, but as she goes through, all of that is so much in her head that it
when you step through,
it
it's the
kind
same
of
effect.
mixes with the.
You react, and how does Ruby now look?
Um,
A lot of artwork coming out of this episode.
a bit cleaner. The
Cleaner.
chartreuse. Oh yeah, she'd have been like proper clean when she went through and everything. So there is still braiding in the hair that's very that Toan kind of the kind of braids that her mother would have put in, not like what Cass would have like when he wins a grapple check. But with that, it's the kind of like half pulled back Gresham kind of, so it's slightly more refined.
That's pretty cool. Yep.
And instead of the because what it was basically a sort of a shapeless kiltish skirt that like came to ankle length, and the tunic with just various layers of wool and cloak and whatever. It's whatever's warm and available depending on. It's more that kind of a Torian Gresham sort of column shape,
Okay.
but of thicker material, like a heavier material, and the trimmings and any decorations and sort of like sash and stuff, it is still all the tartan, and there is still like in the brooches and any other like there's still, it's definitely like anyone who's good with art, it's like you've got a real like Celtic Gresham crossover aesthetic, like a fusion aesthetic
I'll speak to my people.
going on there, but with like but she's still got absolutely massive sensible boots on.
Yes,
She still knows she still knows us walking today.
Guess you also find your attire, Ruby, that you originally had, your tea pouches and stuff,
Yeah.
all back on you wherever you deem them to be. Guess is similar with yourself. You can, as you step through, you can either redefine your entire. I'll have a lily in my hair, but
Nice, good.
but you're back to your ninja fighting, ready to blend self,
But not covered in Ari's form.
but not covered. No.
That, I would like to point out, was changed out of prior to
before.
us going on the magic.
Like
the
anything
Celeste.
else, it's just like
Carl's literally like, "Will you sort your life?" But yeah,
Harry did actually clean up after
Yeah,
himself, I'll have you know. Again.
yeah. So, Khan is at the bottom
you're
of
not
the
gonna do
fuse.
anything just to like put a Artarian to shame when you get back.
A plate armoured corset. Let's have you long-eared shit.
Not needed. Not needed.
Or natural.
Just don't want to be covered in puke all the time, guys. Like
It's-
it's I don't feel like it's a big ass.
It's a legit request. As you go down the few stairs, Khan is 18 hands of
Unit.
whatever that was.
Stoic majesty.
Stoic Majesty, which is his partner's name.
It's a band name, isn't it?
You get upon young Khan, take one last look at the temple and its peacock motif, and you hear in a clear, not shout, but volume has been added to her voice. Time for my first dance. And the applause goes mental, like the temple shakes. And Khan starts trotting towards the nebula you now see at the other side of the court garden area where the warriors of Peacock are there. And as you ride towards the nebula, you look to your right, Ruby, and you see a small creature flicking through the blooms. Not quite enough to say who or what, but just a small, tiny...
So how small are we talking? Small,
small.
like a mouse,
Like,
or small,
like
small.
that small.
mouse.
small like a fawn, or small like a gnome, or but
Yeah, it's a dwarf riding a fucking
no, I'm
riding a
thinking of
gnome.
the gnome who was hanging out in the nebula
it's
last
not,
time.
It's
but-
not It's not Captain.
No, if there's a dwarf in that bush, it's their mistake.
Yeah. You see a mouse-like creature flicking through the blooms, but not enough, like I say, for you to
Actually stop and go like, are you coming or what?
You just keep. Yeah. You hit the nebula. Oof. The stars rush past. You look behind to see where you've just left. Nothing but pink and blues and oranges and beautiful starlit sky. There is a rushing of wind through your now new hair and braids, and you just feel alive. Same with you, Cass. This is just feels nice. Khan slows down. The sound of the ball disappears. Should disappear. And you appear back in that smallish, tall ceilinged room for Khan, holding the statuette. Not the statuette, the pearl. No sign of Khan. The nebula gone. The sound of the ramparts around you and clashing of practice steel and whatever's going on in this Dar Shaladusian. And before we go any further, we're going to have a break for 10 minutes. Woo! Because I need me some whiskey. But yes, we'll be back in about 10 minutes, folks. Thanks for that, and we'll be back soon. Break time. Bye. Oh, we're back. Dun 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 on the ramparts. Oh, should I? Oh, okay. There we go. So, Ruby and Kestrion, you're back on the ramparts of the Dar Sharadoshion. You don't feel as if it's later on in the day or anything like that. You'd probably have to confirm, with somebody.
Ruby will actually know because King Mind Fate.
All right, yeah. So you don't believe any time's passed.
And yet they're still in trouble, aren't they?
And yet, this is the music you have chosen to play.
Don't you meta? So Sapphire and Harry.
Oh no.
Your turn.
Whilst
Yep.
you're sat talking to the girl with no hands, what are you talking about? You're just staring at her? Or...
Well, I'm trying to remember what we were talking about last time.
So the last conversation you had with her before we moved away was she asked you to get Arterian's sight back.
Yes.
It's kind of where we finished it, and then we moved on to some random adventurous.
What happened with his sight? She told us. I can't remember. He gave it up for something, right?
So she's asked you to get the sight back from the person who took it.
The one who took it needs to give it back. Harry knows who it is, and it's Malika.
Harry knows who it is, but she also said no parent should experience their child betraying them. No, other way around. No parent. No parent should experience their child betraying them. Yeah, that's right.
Interesting, because I wrote down no heart should be broken by their child.
Yeah, same thing.
No, it's not.
It's not.
One might lead to the other, but those are two different things. But
If
I'm not in the
you can see
room.
that I can close my
Yeah.
eyes and rest and then help you. There you go.
Because as long as he's blind, she can't rest.
Oh, I don't think Sean knows what that means. I don't know if Sapphire's smart enough to understand those implications right there.
Yes.
Well, I feel like we've got a lot to talk to Malika about. Looks over at Harry. What's one more thing to go and give her some crap for?
Pretty much.
It does seem like a lot of the things we've been chasing for a while all seem to be lining up. Oh.
Yeah. It's very weird how it's all suddenly kind of clicking into place a little bit.
Yes, suddenly.
I don't think that. I think that's user error.
I mean, sweating in their plot minds.
I think that's dumb
I know.
boys being dumb because they're going, what does this all mean? We've all been sat here as players going, we know what this means.
Look at the ass on that. Oh, we've lost Harry.
Accurate.
It was me trying to work out if he would realise that the Curse of the Darklings thing was a thing, and I was like, you confirm that? And I was like, cool! Off we go!
Like, I hate this. I hate the waiting around. I want to go and get started. Oh, Hades disappeared.
Yeah.
Hades
Sorry,
back.
sorry, my camera. You don't worry, you carry on with yourself, see? Yes.
Yeah, I don't. We need to wait for the others to come back though, because I have a very, very strong feeling that younger Natasha and Sasha will probably murder me on sight.
I'll do my best not to.
You seem to have a lot less control over that when you're in your Soulforged set shape.
It's not me. The vessel is exactly that. It's a vessel. I shouldn't be here.
Why are you here?
That was going to be my next question.
Because of the Warforged. The vessel. I should have never been in the wall. When you take the life of a dragon, the spirit needs to return back. They didn't let it go.
I don't know how to ask this without being direct, so please take no offense. But once you were released from the wall, why didn't you go back to where you're meant to be?
Arterion, whilst I was mindless in those initial moments from being released, Arterion placed me, bound me to the vessel. Arterion is hurting, and after losing his sight the way they did, it's not easy for Arterion to let go the final pieces of his heart.
Okay, but ignoring how Arterion feels, how are you feeling about this? Because it sounds to me like you've just kind of gone from one trap to another.
There was a moment where I could have left the vessel, in detriment to myself, and maybe my spirit would have been cast asunder, and I chose to stay. Arterian and myself are soulmates, is what younglings call it. It is beyond it is powerful, the bond between myself and Arterian. He was there for me and I for him. But once this is done, the vessel will be broken. And Arterian will help me home.
Okay. Okay, good. I was worried that this was going to turn into once we sort this, we're then going to have to violently try and convince Arterian to let you go, but that's good. I'm glad that doesn't have to happen. Sapphire thinks internally, because we'd get our asses kicked. But he's not saying that out loud.
Let me grapple him.
Yeah.
My chances with 3 aspects of death.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Sapphire still hurts from that. I couldn't grapple him thing. That's he let you hold it. I was like,
Never emotionally recovered.
Yeah.
Harry kind of looks at the girl with no hands and it's just like, I wanted to thank you. I tried with your other younger self, but they weren't listening. You really helped Cass and I when we really needed it, and I've admired you a lot since then. I just wanted to thank you for helping us and hope that we can help you and Arterian in return.
You released me. I owed a debt.
It only seemed fair for more than fair for what my ancestors did to you in the first place, so, you know, if we now need to go and speak with if we need to consult Malika, shall we say, in regards to getting Arterian's sight back, then that's just something else to add to the list, quite honestly.
The things in front of you, both of you, they do hold a power beyond what you yourselves hold. But you have it is said mortals could not take down a dragon, and yet the ivory wall stood. It is said the forests of the Fae could not be defeated, and yet the trees of Ravenholm in the material realm now have copper bark. I will aid you as much as I can. And maybe one day there'll be stories of folks not powerful enough to take down the true, and yet they did. Bless you.
thank you. Ruffles his fur.
Main just goes poof. But without Arterian's sight, we will all be blind going into that battle.
And you need your rest. That will be, I think, looks at Harry. I think that might be our next step. We have a lot of things lining up around Malika.
I think that Altarian and Natatha and Sasha are powerful allies. And while we had our differences to begin with, and kind of nods at Natatha and Sasha, I have a lot of respect. And there's not that many people I can say that about, quite honestly.
I can never
Definitely
forgive
had-
the Eagles and your ancestors, Ari. But I do share a similar respect for yourself and your friends. You have done what a lot of younger races would not have. And she just nods at you.
He kind of looks at Sapphire and she's like, "Are we going to go and see what everyone else has been up to?"
Yeah, I feel like we share what's happened and then get moving. I hate this waiting around. So let's make our way, but also avoid the body. Nods towards Catherine.
Yeah, we'll be quiet. Be fine.
Can you close the door on the way out, please? I'd like it to be quiet.
Of course. Thank you for talking with us.
This gives you
Big low, very, very low Vey bow.
a bow.
Mm.
And you leave, closing the door behind you. Fireball! Zandria!
Into Kess's bedroom.
yeah. Guess just going to walk back to like a stump. What the fuck? Outside on the ramparts, there's a lot of eyes by, well, pretty much the students and the mentors. They're doing their thing, but every now and then they glance over to where Artarian is sat rigid on a bench, and Natatha, Sasha's ivory soul-forged form is playing with flowers that she keeps growing. They then die, and then she grows them again.
Oh, was that the end of the
Well,
description? Sorry.
It's up to you. You can. Yeah.
Was that, is that okay?
You don't have to go over. I'm just letting you
No,
know
no,
what's
no.
in front of you. Because the last thing you said to these lot is, "I'll just keep an eye on them," because I didn't want to put words in
Oh
your
right,
mouth.
okay, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm with you now. I was completely confused as to where in the blink and
Some of us play all the time. You know what I mean? No, we don't. We've missed loads.
boy.
Elbows.
Next
flying.
time you can do my board meeting reports.
I can, but I might owe you a
Don't
job afterwards.
Fair enough, yeah, sure. Right, anyway, so yeah, Zandria is just going to note Altarian's demeanor essentially. Just very casually. Are you quite alright?
Give me an insight check.
Oh my god, is this the first roll of the fucking game?
Of the last 4 sessions, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we
Rest
rolled
of
that
us
either.
rolled stuff
Yeah.
to nearly kill Ari.
Yeah, Mel had a death saving throw or two.
17.
17. For all of the arrogance and confidence of the situation that Artarian is forever encapsulated in, there's frustration there. And a very, very slight worry. Tiny little mark at the eyes when he scans Natatha sat playing with the flowers. I mean, it is.
Hmm.
And then what did you say? Are you all right? For now, yes. When I have conversed with the mentors here, I will be in a better place. How are
Oh.
you?
I've been better. I've been worse. For now, it seems the plot thickens.
I see your glow has returned.
Yes, thanks to Ari.
Did Ari rid you of it?
For lack of better words, yes.
What did you do
Why?
with it?
Well, I didn't do anything with it. It is now residing in him.
He stands immediately within the human. Take me to him now.
Very well. Zandria.
Natatharin stands
wanders
up.
off.
Where are we going? He now recognises. Ah, shit. Natatharin, I would like you to play with the elephant. And gestures over to the Loxodon in the corner.
The elephant's just like,
Did you just call me a fucking elephant? Natatharin goes over and you now see they both stand equally as massive as each other. And Natatharin is like, elephant! Looks at Arterion, does the Loxodon. This time. This one time. And we'll entertain Natatharin. Arterion, lead on.
and Zandria heads off in the direction she assumes Ari to be.
Where do you assume Ari is?
With Sapphire in a room, if I remember correctly.
You were told where.
And on your way to said room with Sapphire.
I can't remember. I wasn't actually here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was
Worst
just
memory
saying.
ever.
You were told.
And you up the stairs and across like a corridor. Ari and Sapphire, you see coming towards you Zandria, and behind her, in beautiful corset, Arterion. He strides past Zandria, tears the golden silk blindfold from his face, and there is a light that beams from it straight into Ari's chest. The light is so hot and bright that both Sapphire and Zandria turn away from it.
Bye, Ari.
Disintegrate.
She's got Cyclops.
Disintegrate.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Can you give me a Constitution saving throw, please, with disadvantage?
Oh, disadvantage, because I'm always at disadvantage now.
Remember, we have a rule, don't we?
You have a reroll.
Yeah.
We haven't used them for a couple of weeks.
I honestly
Yeah.
thought you said we have a rule. I'm like, what,
We have a
I thought we had-
rule.
what rule is
No,
this?
at advantage, it should be okay. Even at Oh, no, disadvantage!
Disadvantage.
God damn it.
But we have a reroll.
Right,
And you
just
re-rolled them
reroll.
both.
Yeah.
Might take the reroll because that's a 7.
Do the reroll,
Do the
for the
reroll.
love of God.
Still at disadvantage.
It can't be much worse. Right rolls a 1.
What?
The curse!
Well,
Why do you play dice games, man?
like you can I confirm the
Oh.
shape of dice that you're using?
Is it the one with a 20
See the one with
on
like
it?
the 20 on it? It has to go all the way up to 20. Or if it's the one like a square, that's
the
not
wrong one.
the wrong one. You need the big round one. Okay?
Somebody clip that, please.
I would a dice shop, guys.
She doesn't touch
Wait,
any of
what?
the
I was
dice.
gonna say.
Just point that out.
People need to
Dice
know
shop?
that Mel doesn't touch the dice.
Yeah.
No.
Mel,
That's 3 with the reroll.
you rolled 4 dice. Granted, at disadvantage. So,
Oh God.
as this beam of pure sunlight's the wrong word. It is a light that you don't recognize as radiant or like arcane fire or anything like it. It is just, there's no other word to describe it but light.
It's a hyper beam.
Sapphire and Zandria turn away from it. What's your hit point max, Harry?
Oh God.
Oh no.
Wait till I send you the screenshot.
Oh no.
My hit point max, currently, if you ruin this, I'm going to
69.
murder. 69.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's 69.
We're gonna ruin it. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Goes down by 1 permanently.
It's gonna go permanent lower than that. Uh-oh.
Look in the Facebook chat.
Oh
I
no.
can't. It's not loading quick enough.
No.
I can't. It's not loading. Faster, you
You're
piece of
fucking.
I shit you not.
Oh my god!
So,
What are the fucking chances?
honestly, when I said to you last week, some shit you can't write, that's fucked up. So,
Oh no.
as this disintegrating beam of light pours and Sapphire, Kess, Ruby, Xandria, and the entire ramparts hear the scream of agony from Arterion, Ari disintegrates. The dust that's left of Ari, the beam of light, dissipates. The golden scarf, this is all fluid motion, the golden scarf goes wrapped back blindfolding Arterion. Sapphire and Xandria, you turn. Sapphire looking towards Ari from one side, Xandria looking towards Ari from the other. You see the spiritual dust of what remains of Ari. Sapphire, you see a small marble, a bit bigger than the ones that Soul Taker had, appear in Artarion's hand. And the spiritual dust of Ari straight into this orb. What's left in Ari's place is a 6-foot-ish, completely jet black silhouette creature with long, dark, black claws. The wisp that you saw that came out of Ari's mouth originally, now sort of thick and trunk-like on the floor as it just kind of floats around there. It starts to screech and reach out and claw. Arterion mutters some strange arcane words. Give me an Arcana check. Both of you. Xandria and Sapphire.
Oh, that was a D10. I actually did. We were joking about a second ago.
It's not going to It's not going to
Not 20.
for a total of
20. I don't have anything in Arcana.
I was going to say same
That's
for me.
intelligence.
Not a nat 20. It was
Oh,
a
right.
9. But flat. It was a flat.
You are unsure of the spell Arterion is casting. Although you will know that the school is conjuration, Xandria.
Okay.
Pure, like white gold, iron, not iron, but they look like iron bars of a prison. All go around this shadow creature. A ethereal, sort of misty bottom and top appear to it, and this creature is in this prison, for lack of a better description. It's raking at the bars, and when it does, it reaches back. It's screeching and howling at the skies. Sapphire, Xandria, what do you do? As you,
What happened to the soul marble?
it's
In
in
Arterion's-
Arterion's hand, and he slumps against a wall as if expelled a great amount of energy, and is chuntering under his breath words you don't understand, a language neither of you have ever heard. Xandria, you recognise it sounds fair. Like, I get that there's Sylvan and dialects and that, but there is a, like, ye olde English. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fair, but it's beyond
Bollocks
your...
old.
Yeah. Bollocks old. Yes! There's my next t-shirt.
Bollocks.
But Arterion is weakened and tired and exhausted, leaning against the remaining bit of stone wall.
Fucking with just, I don't know how to explain it. In Sylvan, in like that calm rage. Does that make sense? Like
Well,
with the
Sapphire-
ca-
yeah.
I was going to say it's literally what Sapphire does. So yeah.
the calm rage, but in Sylvan, Xandria looks at Altaria and just says, "What have you done to Ari?"
Completely blanking you. Starts to walk towards the prison-like whatever's going on in the centre of the corridor, still chuntering under his breath.
Sapphire would like. Sapphire would. It's what Sapphire would do. Sapphire would like to try and dash kind of past him, I guess, but grabbing the soul gem. wants to take the soul gem from Arterion. Does not trust this in Arterion's hands whatsoever. Doubt I'm going to be able to do it, but it's what Sapphire would try.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Sapphire.
What do you want me to roll?
Are you... It's up to you. Sleight of hand, yeah? If you're trying to, like, run past and ye old catch the dart in the air type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or a straight up dex check to just run past and ninja it out of his hand.
They're the same. Let's go for it.
I need to know which one because it determines what he rolls against you.
Fair. I will go, I guess, straight dex probably for Sapphire.
Cool.
That's pretty good. Plus, that would be 23.
So, as you go running past, you just sprint past, yes? Just avoid the thingy, and all your only focus is grab the soul marble and get to Xandria, yeah?
Yep.
Leaning against the wall, as he comes away from the wall, like drunkenly going down the corridor, chuntering in this ancient Fey language. As he drops to his knees in front of the prison, you see tears rolling down his cheeks from beneath the golden scarf blindfold. And just for a split second, his hands relax in submission to the scene before him. And that's enough that his grip's not on it on a 22 that you that you fly past. And Arterion is that consumed with the scenario in front of him as you take it from his hand. His fingers close like effortlessly trying to stop you and cares not that you've succeeded. He just has his back to you both now, crying in front of this imprisoned shadow creature that is raking out at him, arms coming through the bars and getting hurt by whatever magic is imprisoning him, trying to scratch and claw at Arterion in front of him. And he just kneels there, weeping.
Sapphire's kind of come to a stop. It was very much a anime flash kind of thing. Has come to a stop beside Xandria, and he's just hugging this marble through his chest. Just looking at Xandria basically to see what to do.
Xandria will walk forward to stand to the side of Alterion. And kneeling down. She's not going to look at him, she's going to look at the creature in the cage. And in Sylvan again, explain.
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Oh, persuasion. On a disadvantage, we are gonna get a dirty 20. Fuck yeah, charisma.
Fucking warlocks.
He
You may have just succeeded.
Tell me your secrets.
He stops talking in that ancient language dialect to yourself. Head drops, and it's as if Arterion's at a different speed, like the frantic frenzy of the creature in the prison inches away from clawing his face off, and he just seems to be slowed. His arms are on his thighs just in front of him, and the tears are just rolling down his cheeks. They have gone too far. This is not right. Her own child. To turn against me was one thing, but this, and he looks up at the creature. Too far. Find a cleric. Your friend will need help. He kind of looks like away from you at the floor.
Sapphire very carefully holds out the soul gem to Xandria because that's who it should be with as far as he's concerned.
Cassandra will take the soul gem off Sapphire. And she will stand and turn and start walking, but before she makes her way fully out of the room, again in Sylvan. Once I have dealt with this, Altarian, I require more answers. And you will give them. No is not an option. And then Xandria will walk out before breaking into a sprint to try and find a cleric.
Yeah, Sapphire was going to suggest he go for speed, but he doesn't want to leave. Now that Xandria's left the room, he doesn't want to leave Altarian alone here. So Sapphire will stay behind. Also, I rolled a flat d20 and got an 18. It was for my own benefit, for intelligence, as to whether with that and what he heard before, Sapphire can finally fucking figure out what he was.
Roll to get a clue.
Yeah,
I'm like,
much.
Sapphire's pretty dumb, so I'm just going to roll his intelligence.
The
And his
DC's a
intelligence-
5, guys. All right, do you know what I mean?
So yeah, now he's figured it out. And Sapphire just kind of, I don't know, sits cross-legged beside Altarian, kind of trying both to keep an eye on him and on the creature.
Oh, we've got a raid. Explore the Beyond. Thank you for the raid. It's gravy time.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Welcome to... Oh god, it's all gone horribly wrong.
Gravy raid. Thank you. So you're going to sit next to Artarian, yeah?
Yeah, basically.
Again, it's a strange difference in speed of the moment. The frenzied creature in the arcane prison in front of you, reaching out, like hurting itself, trying to get at Artarian. And Artarian in that kneeling state, hands on the thighs, sobbing, you next to him in your cross-legged, I say peaceful, but ready for it, but chilled state. And he just doesn't look at you, he's still staring at the floor. What do you want, Lion?
We were literally just having a chat with Natatha and Sasha about going to get you your sight back. So right now it seems like you've got a good reason for doing this, and that's the only reason, whether completely fruitlessly or not, I haven't ripped out your jugular. Or at least tried. I don't know what's going on. So right now, I am both keeping an eye on this creature and keeping an eye on you and trying to keep you safe and trying to explain to anyone else that might walk into this room.
Could you kill your own cub?
No. I'm already having difficulties about the fact that I may have to come to blows with my sister. No, I wouldn't kill my own cub.
The taker of souls.
Yes,
She does this for her cub.
she does.
Would you die for them?
A soul taker, or for a bit of a cub that I do not have?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would.
If I die for my cub, all is lost. If I kill my cub, there is a small chance. Being
Okay,
blind.
you've got the dumbass of the party. Who's your cub exactly?
I'm done talking. And he stands up.
Sapphire immediately stands up with him.
You have your curse. Do with it what you must. Unless you can counterspell, he disappears.
Damn it.
Trying to spell it 9th level.
Holy shit! When I said homebrew barbarian, that's what I meant.
I only have 2 spells: counterspell and wish. And
There's on my sheet cantrip.
cast at will, instantaneous reaction speed. Yeah. In that case, Sapphire will let out a few curses, and then take out the Naginata and just stand guard over this fucking caged creature, I guess.
When Artarian disappears, the creature carries on for a few more seconds, like frenzy and berserkering in this cage. There's almost an acceptance that Artarian's gone, and it slumps back against the cage and is kind of like hunched, this strange silhouette, this living silhouette. And you hear the creature cry and sob and repeatedly say the word, Mother. 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 Zandria, where are you heading with your soul orb?
Running around the academy asking for a cleric, or where I can find a cleric.
I shall tell you.
Somewhere in this building there will be a cleric.
Need to find out.
Time for Anne to be resurrected underneath the woodcutter.
Oh God.
So, as you
Turns tails into a god.
as you go rushing out, you see Caspian and Ruby just coming out of a room. It's a very large, broken sort of storage room. You two walk out to see Zandria, flustered for Zandria.
Where's the fire? What's...
The fire is the fact that Arya has been disintegrated. I'm trying to find a cleric, and she continues running.
Kess just like looks at Ruby like...
Remember this? We were only gone instantly, and I'm sure
Yeah,
they couldn't get
it's
to that one.
like, do you remember 5 minutes ago where we sat joking with the lady that we were in a place where no time would have passed, but they'd still be in a trouble when we got back? Ruby puts 2 fingers from each hand into her mouth, which I'm assuming Cass knows what that means by now.
And like...
the sound that she lets out is like a kite or a bird of prey, where it's that descending shriek of and just as loud, and given the kind of acoustics of this kind of place, it will bounce and echo, and she will keep doing that until as many people as possible have come towards them, because that is the tone, like the emergency. So
You are
like with the whistling
fire
language.
alarming it.
Yeah, basically it's like an air raid signal, kind of like the tone just doesn't rise it back up again, but it's that repeated falling tone that is.
You whilst you're doing that, and you're doing your emergency thing, your good friend, the mentor Dean, one of the Oaken Drydacker, from above somewhere, you're unsure if it was stairs, a high wall, came out of a window, just like over your shoulder lands 2 of his short swords out in his hand in a stance. What's the emergency? And he's looking around the place like there's nothing here.
Ari's been disintegrated?
Nah.
Then explain, and just like what left you can see of Zandria, like
The cartoon outline of
pelting it
Zandria.
down the corridor. Like she just... What happened? Are we under attack? What?
Not that I know of. You're serious, aren't you?
Ruby takes a breath between whistles and just says, "Cleric now."
On it. And you just hear him start running around the ramparts going, Dragos! Dragos! And he's shouting his little lungs out. Xandria, go on, look.
No, go for it.
Xandria, as you're like running around just grabbing people, are you a cleric? Are you a cleric?
Are you a cleric?
I sat there with a spell book. No. Someone reacts to, like, clearly Dragos is their name, and it is the long blonde hair, lightning blue eyes, half plate decorated with griffins, stood by the wall, and they were currently fucking about. I mean, it's a technical description of glorious fantasiness, with blue fire. And they react to the mentor, Dean of the Highlands, screaming Dragos. And it starts walking in that direction, but we'll have to pass you to get to Dean.
Ruby, seeing that she seems to have achieved the attention of someone, is now just like pelting it after Xandria.
Dean follows. Dragos appears. Xandria's Dragos is about to say, like, excuse me to Xandria to get past her because he's heard his mentor Dean shouting him. So it's all a bit
Obviously, continuing the theme of "Are you a cleric? Are you a cleric? Are you a cleric?" Question asked.
Dragos. No, I'm not a cleric. Dean, no, but you'll do. Xandria, just hold. Dragos can help.
Oh, good.
Dragos, we need someone bring him back. Dragos is a little bit like, but just it's like 9:30 in the morning. Like,
Ruby arrives, it's like breathless, and she's like, I think
oh, did what?
I can reincarnate, but I don't know if I can
Whoa.
do that without the body.
You got a body?
Nope.
Right,
Got
Dragos,
this.
can you do it or not? What's that? You hold it up, and Dragos looks straight and goes, It's a soul stone. Do you... Oh, I understand. I'm sorry. Give me the stone, please.
Hands the stone.
Holds the stone. Ari, give me a charisma save.
You should be good at this.
Straight
Come on.
roll. Straight roll.
Charisma.
It's not a death saving throw, so if rerolls happen, you can use them.
15.
So, Dragos, like, moves you all out the way, holds the soul stone, looks at Dean. You've got this, lad. Okay. Starts whispering to the soul stone. His long blonde hair goes jet black. His lightning blue eyes go gold. Not glowing, there's no aura of light, just perfect gold orbs where his lightning blue, beautiful lightning blue eyes were. You... Ruby, did you do the fight on the wall? I can't remember.
No, she was healing inside the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, so those
So
that
at some
saw...
point during this, Ruby will have reached out and just grabbed Xandria's hand.
Okay. Those that saw Celestina change her form mid-fight. It reminds you of that.
Okay.
Dragos takes a knee. The griffins on his half-plate armour start to shift and move and leap from the metal to the stonework, and these two massive griffins circle Dragos in a protective manner, looking out at yourselves. Their wings spread now and then to kind of form this off barrier. All the air around Dragos sucks into the stone. Ari, you saw Artarian pull the blindfold, and the next thing, light. And it wasn't even painful. It happened so fast. When you opened your eyes, you felt to be in a place that you've been before. When you visited a particular realm where you returned the soul of Caspian months and months ago. But but it also feels like when you first went into the realm of the Copper Forest, when you went into the oasis of summer, when you went to the realm of Echoes. It's like your feet are not beneath you. And that's because they're not. And you look around and you are suspended, almost like zero gravity, kind of just floating there. You see a garden that is not of flowers but of intricate stonework, very thin stonework, as if you were bending metal wire to make decorative pillars and garden furniture and stuff, but it's made of stone. Whoever's done this has an incredible craft. But it's massive. Someone could live here. There is a homeliness to this garden you see, this stone garden. Its surrounding features are of greenery and blooms and flora, but it sits within it, like it's been placed there or deliberately dug out of this scene. You see Artarian, young, vibrant, sat on one of these stone chairs, creating what appears to be a corset. But it's too small for him. But it would definitely fit the young, auburn-haired, fair little girl in front of him, in a green dress. And she dances around. And there's a beaming smile across Artarian's face. His eyes, silver and bright. Give me an insight check.
Don't trust any of these dice. At all. At all. 17.
17. Artarian is exuding love. It is just pure love. The little girl is avoiding it. As if when matadors tease bulls, she lures Artarian in, and as he shows that affection, she sidesteps it. And you see it. It's your thing, is reading people. Like growing up with your brother and all the other kids, and you're training historically, arcanely, martially, militarily, socially. You can see it. It's not right. You kind of move towards the scene. And you hear her ask, in a language you do not understand, but you know the words. What would happen, Father, if you lost your sight? And he says, in a boogeyman sort of attitude towards his young'un, the Darkling would come and get us, dear Malika. And he kind of gives her a little shuffle of the hair and punch in the shoulder, which she laughs and plays along with dear old father. But on your insight check, you see that it's pure fake. And then at the back of your mind, there's a warmth, and you turn to it, as if it's behind you. As you turn around, you see Celestina. You think, stood tall, covered in the plate armour she's well known for wearing, her bright white wings out either side of her that go to that shimmering eagle gold, her long hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, the fit in every stereotypical story you've heard in every tavern about angels. But, you know, there are no Asimar on the wall.
Yeah.
But the features start to change.
Celestials.
And even though if you were to pick them out in a crowd, you'd swear it was Celestina. There's something off about their look. Their hair goes black, their eyes go gold, and you hear a deeper voice than what you expect from Celestina. Aristotle Rycroft, I need you to come back. I need you to come back. And either side of this resemblance to Celestina are two griffins, both with a saddle on each. He climbs onto one. Please, Aristotle. Please. You must trust me. I can't tell you why.
I don't want to suggest myself rolling, but can I roll an insight check to see if he's telling the truth?
You can.
Not that was a really dumb move, but that's
You can
what
definitely
do.
roll a dice, Mel. I've no idea what's going to happen.
I just rolled a natural 19. So
Ooh.
that is.
I love how a natural
27.
19 for Mel is like getting a 500 on an
Anything
I know.
double
for
figures.
anyone else.
I got a nat 10. So what did you get total?
27.
27?
Yep.
Well, that fucked that up. There is a pleading to this person, a genuine reaching out, wanting to help, but there's also an unsurety, like they are trying something for the first time.
Yeah.
For bastards.
Hard to
I
read.
know, right?
Yeah, we know how to pick them, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't like there's just there's just an unsurety about them, but there is a genuineness to their plea for you to return, and they don't like you can sense it, read it, that when they say I can't tell you why, that they really want to, but they can't tell you why.
I kind of stare at them a moment. Recall that they actually knew his name. Not that means a huge amount, because apparently a lot of people know his name.
You're in Ravenholm.
Goddamn fake.
It's 1,000 miles wide, and every mile Harry's known.
Depends how many people he slept with that day. He'll kind of like narrow his eyes a little bit, but climb on the griffin and kind of glance back at Arterian and Malika.
Arterian is completely taken by the scene. Malika is looking straight at you,
Yeah, of course she is.
grinning.
Mm-hmm. He will follow on the griffin, but be staring right back at Malika the whole time. Like,
I will kick a 5-year-old motherfucker.
Harry running away.
The person that looks a lot like Celestina is super relieved. As you mount the griffin, they immediately wings go and they go skyward. You are flying through clouds for, it feels like hours, days, like you're just constantly traveling at a speed you've never experienced before, and the griffins are jet-like. Back to you lot in the on the ramparts. Dragos stands up, stumbles backwards, and immediately the griffins step in and use their wings to kind of half cushion him, so he kind of like falls into an almost lounge position. The soul orb drops from his hand as he's half conscious, rolls along the stonework, and shatters. And there's just a small pile of broken glass. Can you give me another charisma saving throw, please, Harry?
She can roll it. It might not be what you want.
Yeah.
There's some weird magic going on, right? I need you to...
18.
You all stare at the broken marble on the floor, this small pile of just glass. Drogos appears to be passed out, but you can hear him moaning and groaning. Everyone is kind of looking around. Dean puts his hand on your small of your back, Ruby. I'm sorry, girl. And he steps past you to go tend to Drogos. Harry, you open your eyes and you're sat stone under your ass, stone at your back. You kind of look up and rub your eyes, and in front of you, your friends are facing a broken pile of glass on the floor, and you are alive. And before you say anything, that's where I'm going to end this session.
Christ.
Otherwise, we'll be here till 2 in the morning.
No stress, guys. No stress.
So yes, you're back, Harry. Close. And who
No
knew
one was panicking.
69 would be the death of you. So,
It's
thank
how
you.
It's what you would have wanted.
But yeah, it's like, that's going on your tombstone. Max HP 69.
9.
Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the raid. It's always appreciated. I hope you had a great session yourselves and killed lots of goblins and dire rats. But yeah, thank you very much for the follows, for the bits, for the subs. It's been great. If you can and you're still in the chat and you do want to check out the Just Giving page and see what we're doing, 24th to the 28th of July, we're streaming for 60 hours, 12 hours a day for 5 days in a row. It'll be D&D, it'll be sat around a table, it'll be me and our Monday bunch shouting and screaming fantasy nerdy stuff. I just go with nerdy stuff, fantasy nerdy stuff's a bit weird. Through the day, right? But that's it, that's good. Do we have an Ashana on?
Yep.
Yeah.
We do. Right, if you're still around, folks, we're going to raid one of our sponsors, who's not on the thing because I moved the overlay around, but she's amazing, Ashana. Right, so please go say hello. I've fucking done it wrong every time. Tell her we love her and that you are also nerds. Right, thank you very much. For now, say goodnight, players.
Night,
Good
players.
night,
Night, players.
Just a bye-bye.